See you guys next month on American Muscle. Give me a flex. Come on, all of you guys. Come on.
Got to get control of the body. I like to sit still, first of all, reorientate myself to what I'm getting ready to do. So don't, all you TV people, don't try this at home. I'm paid professional.
If you need any help, you just let me know.
I'm going to have to do it. All right, find your bearings.
Okay.
I'm assuming, Vince, that you've got to get that initial control because picking up some heavier weights then...
Well, that's why he starts with the weights up on his knees and brings them back into his cradle position.
Okay.
This avoids any injury.
Right.
An injury can sideline an athlete for a whole season.
Oh, without a doubt.
Notice this variation of the press that Vince does. This takes into account that Vince has a shoulder that's given him some problems in the past. So what we're doing is we're stretching and contracting the chest at the same time.
Okay.
As he finishes these up, his next movement again will be the back movement.
Good job, Vince.
Training his antagonistic muscle group.
All right.
Okay, and you got some more weight on there for him, right?
We got some extra weight for Vince.
Okay, it's break time now. Let's
Come on, Vince.
No rest between sets.
All right.
All right, let's do it.
Let's
Now,
do it.
this is a peak contraction movement. Notice at the peak of his contraction, Vince holds this for a pause. Right.
Okay, and what exactly does that do?
That causes the blood to course through the fibers and stimulates more muscular contraction. This helps separate and define the muscle and give him a little more density.
Oh, great trick.
Yeah, I noticed that Vince is really strict with his form and technique, and I know we've all talked about the importance of that when you're training.
It's so important, especially at this level where the athletes are judged on just minute little differences.
Absolutely.
And so
Right.
the more definition he can show or refinement he can show, that puts him a little step above his competitors.
Well, you know, people seem to have this crazy belief that people like Vince just go in the gym, lift weights, and they could jump on stage tomorrow and win a bodybuilding contest. And we know that's not true.
There's years of preparation and hours in the gym.
Well, don't go anywhere because we have a little bit more in the gym here. Next, we're coming back with some killer quads.
Oh, yeah.
Back for killer quads, and we are. Terry's here to help show us how to get them.
All right.
Okay, Vince is going to start off our superset, which is actually a giant set because we're using 3 distinctive different exercises to start out the leg training with leg extensions. Notice he has the contraction pause at the top.
So he's going up and doing that squeeze at the very top so we can kind of see all the separation that
He's going to contract that muscle fiber and make it, more defined.
Wow.
And we're going to stick it with, lighter weights and high reps.
So now when Vince is going into the gym preparing this year for the Olympia, he's doing more of a high rep with his legs?
Oh, yeah. Vince is used to doing hundreds with me, training.
Wow, 100.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that?
Vince, I think he's at like maybe 82.
Yeah. Now we'll move over to the second movement, which is the hack squat machine. On the hack squat machine, we're going to do both upper and lower quadrant training.
Wow.
To start off, he's going to do the lower half of the movement.
Okay.
And that keeps the stress in the lower quadrant of the quads.
Which is this area in here?
Right.
Okay. Wow.
So this is obviously making it a little bit harder for you, right, Vince?
Oh, you guys are working me today.
Better you
he's
than
still
me.
talking, so let's load some more weight on there.
Okay, now he's going to take and go to the top of the movement, keeping the same foot position. Now he's going to work the upper quadrant.
This is so intense.
So again, he's getting that squeeze at the very top. I noticed he's holding it for a second.
Exactly.
And you said the upper quadrant, so now he's focusing more on the upper part of his
More
thigh.
on the frontal part of the thigh.
Okay.
Nice.
Awesome.
Looks good, Vince.
The big change in...
Good enough.
The big change... Go ahead and lock out over there. The big change in high rep training is the definition that it brings out and the actual shape that it'll put on the legs.
Right.
Vince is recovering from knee surgery, getting ready for the Arnold this year, so we had to tailor his training. And he'd tell you what high rep training actually did to improve his quads for this year's competitions.
I tell you, when you look around the gym, you notice a lot of guys with legs about this big can lift the entire gym. So there must be a correlation between what you can lift, what stimulates growth. I'm finding out that stimulation control gives you more growth than pushing a lot of mass and weight. So watch the next time in the gym.
Well, I have to say, when I started training in the gym many years ago, my legs did not really respond to 12 repetitions, and an old-time pro bodybuilder said, try high-rep sets. And within 6 months, my legs changed, and I won my first bodybuilding show.
Well, that's what we did with Vince. Vince can attest to the fact that we started 100 rep sets and worked down to 40.
Wow.
That's got to be tough, Vince.
You're resting too long.
All right, let's move over to the leg press. Here on the leg press,
you can.
on the leg press, we use 4 different feet positions.
Okay.
And the way Vince would start in a normal leg training routine would we be doing 25 reps at each of these 4 feet positions. So by the time he's off, he's sweating bullets and he's done 100 reps.
So now, with his feet very high, it's going to hit a very specific area.
Right.
Of the
Right
leg.
now he's training the hamstring, thigh region tie-ins.
Okay.
And you can see his hamstrings working now as we talk. And you can see also the quads are getting a lot of stimulation because he's still doing a leg press motion.
Okay.
Definitely.
Now he's going to go into the second feet position where he'll turn his toes straight. Now this is very similar, if you look, to a powerlifter's squat foot position.
Right.
Where he's training the overall trunk of the thigh.
Right.
So this is the multi-angular training that you were talking about
Exactly,
earlier.
with high reps.
And by changing his foot positioning, it's hitting very specific areas.
Very specific
of the leg.
regions, and when he gets off, he has done all 4 muscle groups of the quads. The quadriceps, the thighs, 4 muscle groups make up the thigh.
Wow, incredible. Vince, I'm counting, and you didn't get up to 100 yet, so you better keep on moving down there.
I did those last ones so fast you didn't see them.
I just hope that you don't get me on the machine.
Now, his last set is feet close together, and watch
Okay.
how he keeps his knees close. This works just the frontal thigh, brings
Right.
him straight back to his chest. He's not taking the stress off the range of motion by spreading his legs and coming too deep, which a lot of people do. They'll get on a leg press and you'll see him go way, way, way too
Right.
deep. Here he's keeping all the contraction and all of the concentration is in the thigh muscles.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
You know what people don't seem to realize about bodybuilding? It's not how much you lift. When you get on stage, you want to look a certain way, and I guess this is a great way to really fine-tune the muscles.
It is, exactly. We use the leg press with multi-foot positions. We use the hack squat with multi-foot positions, and we even do the leg extension using multiple contraction positions where you'll hold or pause at certain different levels or areas within that range of motion.
Okay.
Tell them, we like this so much. We want you guys to try it.
That's right.
You won't know until you finish.
Somebody jump on the hack squat. We'll show a
Okay.
variation in the hack squat training.
Denise, you want to do it?
Oh, I'm the lucky one, right?
Boy.
Okay.
Denise, put your feet in the middle of the platform
Okay.
and go down and do that bottom half motion. Now you notice you said that earlier when we were talking, you said you had a bad knee.
Yes.
Notice how doing this lower portion motion doesn't really affect the knee because you're not into the contraction where that ligament and tendon are getting stressed too much.
You're absolutely right.
Good. Now lock that out. Lori, if you want to come over here, I'll show you something different on the leg extension machine.
Oh, so that means I can stop?
See, yeah, you can stop. You can lock those up.
Speaking multi-angular.
Same here.
that.
We got more time. Let's go.
Okay. Give me some
Okay.
angles.
Take your feet out wider, and now turn your toes to the outside. What this is going to do, this is going to work the sweep of the quad. Notice again, you've
The outer
taken the
part.
stress off the knee.
All right, well, don't go anywhere because we're going to let Denise work her sweep. We'll be back with some nutritional tips next.
For hours. 2, 3 and a half.
Keep going.
Done hitting the weights, and that's just the first step to building a great body. As a competitive bodybuilder, I found over the years that I could really change the way I looked by becoming more muscular or even less muscular by changing my diet. And I also found that nutrition really plays a huge role in our appearance. I would say it's about 80% of how we look. And today with us, we have nutritionist Julie Feldman to really help uncover some of the secrets to building a great body.
Basically, Julie, one of the main questions that everyone really wants to ask in bodybuilding, actually in the beginning, is building mass. What is it that I need to eat in order to build like lean muscle mass, to gain bulk, as they say in this bodybuilding industry?
Well, if you want to gain bulk, you're going to want to eat all day long.
All day,
which is
I
a
like
good
the
thing.
sound of that, eating all day long.
Good
I'm
thing.
good at that.
Every 3 or 4 hours. But it's generally going to be healthy foods. Sorry. No burgers, shakes, fries all day long. More like the healthier foods.
Okay.
So your chickens, fishes, lots of vegetables.
So chickens, fishes being what? What?
Those are going to be your proteins.
Okay,
You need to
proteins.
eat all 3 macronutrients,
Lean
protein,
protein.
carbohydrates.
We don't
fat.
really want to consume burgers or pork or fatty proteins. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
So I really want to be bulking up on carbohydrates and proteins,
Right.
but not fatty.
Fat kind of finds its way into your diet,
Okay.
so generally most of your protein sources have fat in them. You don't really have to add much. But you're going to want to eat all day long, a little bit of protein, a little bit of carbohydrate at every meal.
Well, what would you consider to be some of the best forms of carbohydrates to include with the lean proteins?
Whole grains, most definitely. Complex carbohydrates rather than simple. Do you know what the difference is?
That's what I was going to ask you. Difference between complex carbohydrates and simple.
Simple carbohydrates are kind of like sugar.
Right.
They break down, they raise your blood sugar level, your energy level real quick. Those are not just necessarily what you want in your diet. You want the complex carbohydrates. Complex meaning they're longer molecules, they take a longer time to break down, and they provide energy for a longer period of time.
Well, you know, one thing that I notice is that people seem to believe that as soon as you lift weights, you're going to grow and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I've put 10 years into the gym. But I've also learned, as I said earlier, that by changing my diet, it really affects how you look. That I've been able to actually add muscle or become leaner as I change my diet. So after I've put on muscle and I'm comfortable with the way I look, what are the best ways to really help with body fat to make that muscle more pronounced?
Good point.
If you want to get cut down, you mean? Well, when you're trying to put on size, you're going to want to eat a lot, like we said, mostly the good foods. But when you want to get a little leaner looking, you're going to really want to cut down on some of those carbohydrates.
So basically just cut back on the carbohydrates, sort of maintain your proteins, but...
Maintain your proteins. Carbohydrates is still going to be the highest percentage of food in your diet, but you're going to want to bring them down a little bit because they make you hold water, so they're going to make you hold a few extra pounds.
Well, when you say eat a lot, you don't mean consume large amounts of food. I'll assume that you mean to eat frequently.
All day long, right.
Because what I found that worked for me exactly is eating five or six or sometimes even 7 small meals of consisting of lean proteins and complex carbohydrates and also some vegetables as well.
Well, I've just learned a lot of information about nutrition. I hope you have as well. But stick around because we're going to talk to bodybuilding experts and we're going to ask them some tips on how to build the ultimate body.
Grapefruit, a delicious fat-burning food. But what an
Finish off the show today by topping off those perfect bodies through arm training, or as bodybuilders know, guns.
All right, here we go.
Here
Grab
we
a set
go.
of dumbbells. We're going to start with a superset.
Okay.
Dumbbell training. Alternating dumbbell curls. Keep your elbows back at your side.
Okay.
Supinate the wrists as you come up. Let's get it in unison there. This is like teamwork.
Synchronized training.
Teamwork. I don't see you doing a whole lot back
I'm
there.
coaching. I get to coach. All right?
What a great job.
This is a great job. This is the gravy way.
We're working. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so what were we setting this with?
We're going to superset these with cross-body hammer curls. Come across the body, thumb to the top, and
Okay, and
contracting
what
the bicep.
exactly do these do, the cross-body curls?
They help hit the brachioradialis as well as the upper head of the bicep.
So a different part of the bicep.
Exactly.
Okay.
You've got 2 heads in the bicep. We want to train both of those. Now let's go into our second attack on the bicep tricep area by doing antagonistic muscle group. Drop the dumbbells where you're at, and we're
What
going to
a
grab
perfect way of explaining this workout. Attack on the muscles. And that is what it is.
And this is a drag curl. Now the drag curl is executed, it can be used with a curl bar or a straight bar. Drag the bar up your stomach and bring your elbows all the way to the back. Notice how you're cramping the bicep. It's a complete contraction of the bicep. There's no use of the shoulder or any other body part.
So is that what would make different than doing just a regular bicep curl with a bar?
Yes, exactly.
And how many of these do we get to do today?
Well, we normally exercise this in a 12 to 15 rep range, 3 sets. Let's go ahead and finish this. Now, this is the antagonistic phase of what we're doing to our arms. So that means we want to train the tricep next. Grab a single dumbbell, and we're going to do a dumbbell kickback. Bend over at the waist, elevate the elbow, and contract the tricep. Now you've worked the opposing muscles of the arm in unison.
A superset. Now, how many sets would you recommend if we were going to do a workout like this for arms?
For arms, I would do 6 to 8 sets for biceps, 10 to 12 sets for triceps.
Okay.
Keeping my reps, again, in the 12 to 15 or 15 to 20, depending on the weight that I'm using.
Okay, so that means we get to go through this one more time.
That's right. Let's go back to the dumbbells.
No.
Jeez.
We're going to do alternating dumbbell curls.
How about you take these weights and I'll coach them?
The coaching's the fun part, I'm telling you. It really is. All right, alternating dumbbell curls again. All right.
Oh, I missed my unison. Let me get in sync there. Okay, so now if someone's training for a show, this would be, say, all they might need to do for biceps?
It would be all they would need to do for biceps. I'd add a couple of cable movements for triceps to get a finishing touch on. Okay, go into the cross-body motion.
Missed my unison again.
And this is a real killer attack on those biceps and triceps.
Oh, it is.
Okay, set those down, grab your straight bars.
Not this one.
Back to the drag
Vince is used to this, training at this pace, because we do this in all of his concept preparation. We train this fast. All right, drag those up there, really nice and tight.
It's actually very fun. It's challenging.
It really
makes
is.
It fun.
You can be in and out of the gym in about 35 minutes, and you've done your body parts, and everything is exercised.
Nothing like getting stuck in the gym then.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, both Terry and Vince, you out there, and we'll see you next time on Cyberfit.
Thanks. You've got to keep going, Denise.
Oh, lucky me.
And 4.